Okay, so you're ready to go and load your trailer. So what you gotta do, we'll edit this out. So you got your trailer ready, you're loaded up, you're ready to dump. First thing you're gonna do once you're parked at the location to dump, number one's gonna be roll your tarp. And of course every tarp is a little different, just like every trailer's a little different. So roll your tarp open and get ready. Okay, so we got our tarp open. And remember guys, you're parked in your location. Of course we're not loaded for this, but this is just a, you know, a little display. So you're parked where you're going to dump. So the next thing I'm going to do, I put my mud flaps on top of the tires. All I done is pick them up, lay them on top of the tires. Yes, you have hooks here. If you take and hook this mud flap, that'll work. It's not going to do anything wrong. The downfall with doing the mud flap, feed, fertilizer, rock, whatever you're hauling, it's going to go in here. Yes, you still have this little little apron piece on here. It's still going to go in there. Doesn't matter. The downfall stuff we get in here, it'll actually sit here. I've never had one rip off. I just don't like doing it. So I lay them on top of the tires. Lay them on top of the tires, it's not gonna get ripped off. So there you go. Next, okay. So, you're fixing to dump. What are you dumping? What you're dumping is gonna determine how you open your tailgate. You're gonna dump feed, fertilizer, rock. Depending on the style, you're gonna do it, I call it swing. Swing is like a dump truck. That's the way I teach my guys. Swings like this. Barn door is when the door actually opens just like the door in your house. So to make it swing, well, let's go back. All these tailgates have 3 points of contact. One is here, one is here. This is your third, okay? So for the tailgate to operate correctly, 2 points of contact is all that's needed. So you have to look, how am I setting this tailgate up? For this example, we're gonna dump gravel, all right? This one is always fixed. You don't do any changes, so that is one. For gravel, remember we're dumping at swing. So you're gonna eliminate the pin, which would be here. Eliminate it. So 1, 2 points of contact. So now to open this tailgate and get ready to dump, all I do is open this turnbuckle, flip it to the side. Again, I pointed out, guys, I've been doing this a while. I still learn every day, but 1 point, 2 point, everything's ready, so I'm ready to dump. If you got a lift axle, you're gonna come to your box, lift axle up. Mine's wired up in the cab, so that's why mine was that way. But manually flip it, lift axle up, suspension, deflate. Whoa, why am I dumping the airbags? You're dumping the airbags on the end dump because when this trailer raises up, all that weight is gonna go on the very back axle. Everything on the back axle. You don't want 45,000 pounds of cargo plus your trailer weight sitting on 2 airbags for them to bust. Deflate it, problem solved. And it makes it solid. So, lift axle up, suspension dumped. My tailgate is set. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open these jaws, okay? So we are ready to dump. And tailgate, unlock. Next, okay, guess what? I don't see nothing, man. Depends if the car goes all the way at the tailgate or if not. If the car goes not all the way at the tailgate, it won't pop open. Never, barn door or what, never get right here. Oh, let me check and see if this will open. What if it comes back and hits you in the face? Don't do it, guys. stand here to the side, push here, here. I always just push right here. So if product falls out, it's going on the ground. It's not gonna hurt you. So I just take, make sure I'm good. Hey, guess what? I'm good. Once you do that, you're ready to lift the trailer up. Lift it up, dump it, problem solved. So you finish dumping. And we're gonna do a dump example. I'm just gonna show you different barn door techniques, tailgate techniques. But you finish dumping, always, there'll be some gravel or something right here. Sweep those little hooks out, you're good. This is just some feed that was in the tailgate from last haul. But just make sure that's swept out good. Flip your switch, tailgate lock, and basically you reverse everything that you just done. All right, I'm gonna come back in just a second. You'll take your mud flaps off. You're locked up, ready to roll, go to your next load. Again, the point of this part, tailgate setup, point them out, guys. I still do it, 1, 2. In this case, what we're fixing to do is gonna be barn door. So barn door, it's gonna be 1, 2, eliminate, okay? So let's put the pin in. Okay, this is your pin. Goes in. Some of these pins, they just get a little bow in them, so it might not go 100% down. Main thing, you want it to go right here. Guard these pins, guys. Sometimes guys lose them. If they see yours, they're liable to take them. If this gets lost, you can take anything that's kind of durable, stick in there a long screwdriver, a long metal bar, anything for this tailgate just to hinge on. So I'm just gonna slide this in and give it a little twist. Doesn't have to be 100% in right now. It's just got to be in here so the tailgate can guide on this. That's it, nothing else. We're ready to barn door. 1 point, 2 points, eliminate. Okay, let's say I got a load of scrap metal on here. Trailer's full, 100% full. If I open these jaws first, then open this handle, all that stuff could fly out on me. That's a no-go, guys. Don't do it. Let the jaws be your last thing you open, okay? That way the tailgate's still held shut. 1 point, 2 point, eliminate. So let's eliminate this. All right, we're ready. Slide it down. Tailgate's not going nowhere. It's full, okay? We're gonna open the jaws. And tailgate unlock. There you go, guys. That's all there is to it. And again, sometimes your tailgate can stick like this, full of cargo. Stand to the side, I push right here, and just automatically step back. If you got scrap metal, it can fall out, bounce around. If it's bales, whatever the case may be, you know, just stand back from it. All right, so we swing your tailgate, we're gonna dump this. Swing your tailgate around. Unhook my chain. Oh, what did I do, guys? This trailer, again, every trailer's a little different. This tarp, the tarp system, the rod will hit. I can't roll this tarp 100%. Every trailer's a little different. So what I gotta do is swing this back due to the shrink. And I'm just gonna go back and close the tarp just a little bit so I can show you guys a complete dump. Alrighty, that's it. Now, if you notice, I can swing my tailgate. The tarp was in the tarp stop, so my tailgate couldn't come 100%. So now it's back. Again, this is with this tarp style. Not every tarp system is like this. So come back. And we swing. There we go. Hook your chain. It does not have to be extremely tight. I mean, you don't have to give it all your manpower, just, you know, nice and snug. I've had this happen before, guys, when I first started, and anything can happen. I was dumping scrap fell down, I didn't pull up fast enough, scrap actually got lodged in right here. So my point is, leave you a little bit of slack. The reason being, the scrap got lodged and wedged in, but I had a little bit of wiggle room, and it wound up being just enough where I could unhook my chain. If I had pulled my tailgate 100% locked it in, I could have made it possibly worse. You know, there's no right or wrong way, but just leave just a little slack. Okay, so now we got our pretend load of cottonseed, scrap, whatever. We're ready to dump. Got our lift axle up. Hold up, what did we forget? Rear suspension. If you remember, guys, some of you might have caught it, some might not. We're not ready. I flipped that up just to go over my little checklist. This is stuff I do. So what we got to do is dump the rear suspension. So let's flip our rear suspension. Rear suspension deflate. So we got our lift axle up, suspension deflate, and tailgate. Shut this back. Okay, watch your head. So we're ready to go. Product's ready to dump. When you dump, there's different ways. Different products require different types. For this, let's pretend we're dumping cottonseed. The cottonseed's gonna fall and hit the ground. It's not going nowhere. It's not like sand. It's not gonna run off to the side. The cottonseed's gonna sit still. So what I do, and the way I train my guys, everybody's got their own way. Take your trolley valve, pull your trolley valve, that's Charlie brake, whatever you want to call it, but the valve beside the steering wheel. You pull it, parking brakes all pushed in. The only thing holding this from rolling is the back axle. You're lifting your trailer. The pile hits the ground. For it to continue going, that trailer's still lifting up until you stop it. So it's gonna keep dumping product. It's gonna go over your sides, make a mess. What you do is at the same time, you're gonna release your trolley, use your foot pedal to slow the truck and trailer from going forward. So as this truck and trailer is going forward, it's gonna try to shoot the truck and trailer forward fast. You don't want that. You'll drag your pile out too far and it's just a nasty dump. Do it slow. Use your brake pedal not for stopping, but to slow it down. Look at it that way. You're not mashing like at a stop sign. You're just slowing the roll for it going forward. So, all right, all I'm gonna do is put this thing up in the air just to show you what it looks like up in the air. Whenever I put a trailer up in the air, I take, push my clutch in 100%, I put the truck in gear to stop the transmission from spinning. Once that's done, flip your PTO switch, make sure the truck's in neutral, flip your PTO in gear, so that way it's not grinding, shoving it in the PTO in. Once the PTO is in gear, then trolley valve pulled, brakes in, lift your trailer up and proceed. If you're dumping at a feed mill in a pit, you'll lift it to the level that you want, flip your switch, flip your lever to neutral. That'll hold it in place. As soon as you do that, go on and flip your PTO out of gear. These pumps have bypasses in them, but from my experience, if you leave that pump in gear spinning the whole time, you could be unloading 30 minutes, 45, an hour, whatever. If you leave that pump in, you're gonna burn it up. Don't do that. Just flip your PTO out of gear. It will hold that trailer in the hold position in neutral with the PTO off. So that's what I do. And when it's time to lower, in the event you have product in your trailer and you've got to lower it down, if you take your lever, flip it forward to the lower, and just instant flip, it's gonna come flying down, and that's bad. You could turn over, tear something up, that's nasty. 45,000 pounds of cargo, say a 13,000 pounds trailer. You got 58,000 pounds of something just flying down. Don't do that, guys. If you do have to lower a trailer, put your palm like on the base of the tower and slowly lower it down to try to control it from going down. in a perfect world, you don't have to lower a trailer. That's the goal. You don't want to lower one. All right, so otherwise, we're ready to dump. All I'm gonna do is put it in gear, lift it up, and let's go with it. Okay, I'm gonna put my window down, just maybe make it a little clearer. Okay, so all my brakes are now pushed in. Okay, everything's in. Trolley valve is held, okay? That's the switch. I'm just used to doing it. That dumps my air suspension. Trolley valve pulled is it. Okay, I'm gonna mash my clutch in. Put it in gear just to stop the transmission. So we're in neutral, clutch is still in. I'll show you this, my PTO tower setup in just a second. Flip your PTO in gear. Slowly let out of the clutch, and now we lift. And right now, of course I'm empty, but valves are in. This is the only thing holding the trailer right now. And at this, the way I've got the PTOs set up, you don't have to give it any throttle. You can give just a little tickle, a throttle like this, and that's fine, but you don't have to rev it to the moon. You're not doing anything. This is fast enough. Rule of thumb that I teach my guys: if your trailer is less than 50% up and it starts getting unlevel, let's say this trailer is leaning, and right now you could lower it back down and reposition your trailer on level ground. If you're over 50%, we're not there yet, and it's tough to tell in the truck. If I started leaning right now, I would lower it down and reposition. At this point, I'm probably 60%, something like that, going to the top. If it started leaning now, I'd keep going with it. I'd probably give it a little more throttle. Rule of thumb: the quicker you can get it up in the air, the quicker that trailer will get the product out. Leaning is bad. You don't want to do it. It's going to happen. Give it time. But rule of thumb: go on and get that doggone trailer up, get the product out. The quicker it can get out, you'll be good. And we're fixing to be on our last stage. That's it. Okay, as soon as it topped out, I automatically, okay, let's flip it on part. So I've got my tractor brake set, I release trailer. Now let me show you the PTO controls. This is your PTO switch to flip your PTO in gear. This is your lever to raise and lower the trailer. So as soon as it lifted 100%, I stop it right then. There's no use to sit there and keep stressing the system. You know, the pump's trying to pump fluid, but it's all the way up. So as soon as it stops, I flip it to neutral. Next, these are called the hydraulic cylinder. They're called hoists in some places. Either way, it's the same thing. But these are called stages. Each one of the shiny things is a stage. If you look, 1 stage, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the very top. That's your stages. If you have a problem, you're lifting your trailer. You get like, let's say you got 1 more stage to go, you're on stage 4. All of a sudden your trailer starts jumping. It's not going anywhere, but it's sitting there jumping. Stop right there. Flip it to neutral. Kick your PTO out of gear. Hopefully you're empty. If you're not, you got problems. More than likely what's going on is your hydraulic tank is out of fluid. You've pumped all the fluid out, it's leaked out over time. Regardless, you're out of fluid, it's not gonna lift it any higher. All you can do at that point, if you can't shake the product out, which that's a whole other story, and I'm not even gonna go to talking about it. If you can't get the product out, you've got to lower your trailer back down, add some hydraulic fluid in it. fill cap. This was a vent, but this cap actually vents too. Some of these I just go in and plug them off. If it was just a pure vent, something about it, even though there's baffles in these tanks, some did not have baffles, and the way the fluid would return, it would blast it right up the vent and make a mess every time. So I done away with that, just put the plugs in it, problem solved. Again, it starts jumping, stop, you got problems. There's no use to try to rev it higher. You're out of fluid, it's not gonna do anything. If you cut the water hose off, it's not gonna spray any more water. It doesn't matter how hard you squeeze the trigger, sorry. Other than that, you got a nice 40-foot trailer sitting up in the air. Again, all that weight's on the back axle. And that's what you got. Now, next thing, guys forget to put their mud flaps down. They forget to put them up. If you dump your trailer and don't hang your mud flaps, you may get lucky. If not, give it time, you're gonna rip mud flaps off. You're gonna get real good at putting mud flaps on these trailers. Usually every new driver, they're gonna tear about 2 of them off. They're done with it, no more. I'll do another video another time, different tarp setups, talking about the bows and whatnot. But again, this trailer's different. This trailer works really good for hauling cottonseed, different feed ingredients. It has the one bow in the center. The rod helps act as a kind of like a bow that supports it on the rear roll cap. This is a roll cap. The front has a roll cap. And that rod helps keep the tarp on it. There's different tarp systems. Some people have removable bows, which that's what my other trailers have. It's just a metal bow. On each side, you just pop them in, swing them over. If you're hauling stuff like cottonseed or some type of scrap where you need to move it. Some people have flex bows. If you hauling products like lime or fertilizer, glass, whatever, that you really don't have to get in, you can leave those flex bows in. You don't have to do nothing. The loader will dump right on top. It'll be fine, it's not a problem. But otherwise, that's kind of a little intro in how to operate a dump and the tailgate. Main things with these trailers, there's a lot going on. Take your time, guys. If there's 10 people behind you to dump and you're new, I don't see but one person dumping. Don't worry about them. Take your time, you're the captain of the ship. As long as it's successful, that's all that counts. Turning over is bad, nobody wants to lose their day. Hey, you do what you need to do and don't worry about the other man. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. I'll lower the trailer, just like I said, just ease the lever down, shut my tailgate. That's pretty much it, guys. Any questions, just leave it in the comments. I'll do the best I can to help you out. And thanks for watching. Okay, guys. So when you pull a frameless, first off, what makes a frameless dump trailer? Frameless dump trailer. This is what some people call a box. There's no chassis. If it had a chassis, just like chassis rails on a car, pickup, whatever, there would be rails. All this would be flat. All that would actually be in the air is the cylinder. Nothing else with a frame dump trailer. This is a frameless. There's no chassis. Chassis frame is the same thing. So with a frameless, these, oh gosh, I can't even think what they're called right now. Trailing arms, control arms, whatever. I can't even think of the real name right now. These are just guides. Don't picture this as a tripod. You have to, draft arms. Don't picture this as a triangle and that these draft arms actually support it. They ain't squat supporting this. This just guides your trailer back and forth for the most part with your cylinder. Don't focus on these as, hey, they're braces. Oh no, it doesn't work that way. When you dump a trailer, what you gotta have is that back axle level, and make sure you got, a good 8 foot or so in front to pull away from your pile. Don't forget that when you're pulling your truck forward also. I've been in locations before when I first started and I had a wall in front of me in a dump. I got my product out of the trailer, but then my truck was in front of a wall. I couldn't go nowhere. So yes, I had to go to the back of the trailer, shovel some out, maneuver it so I could back up a little bit, rip the mud flap off. Lesson learned. So that's why when you dump, make sure you got, you know, a good 8 foot or so to pull forward, not only a trailer, but your tractor too. But again, let's go back to the frameless. This is a frameless, draft arms, cylinder. Okay, well, why is it you got to block your fifth wheel up on a frameless dump? Right here is exactly why. Every truck blocks up a little different. So this is one setup. Out of all our trucks, I think 2 are the same way. Unless you get factory trucks straight off an assembly line, they're all gonna be a little different. So again, this is a blocked fifth wheel, so why do I have to block it? You have to block this fifth wheel because the trailer is like an inchworm, it comes in and out. So block the fifth wheel, this flexes. The draft arm flexes here. If you're pulling a van trailer, hopper bottom, whatever, you would have tilt in your fifth wheel, so you had some flex. This does not do it because you have to do it. So next question, can I pull a frameless trailer with an unblocked fifth wheel? No, sir. Legally, no, and you don't need to. All your weights, all that is gonna be on those pins. Those pins are fairly big, however, don't do it. I've moved them around in the yard, and when you give it throttle, give it brakes, whatever, it's rocking back and forth. Don't do it. When you're doing a pre-trip on your truck, look around wherever it's blocked up at too, and make sure it's not broken. If it breaks and your fifth wheel is unblocked and it breaks, that's bad. I've had one break in the middle of dumping. That's a scary feeling for your fifth wheel plate to shift, because it's gonna flip forward or backwards just the way the weight is. It's gonna flip. That's a bad feeling. It's not fun. Got to load off. Nothing was done. You know, hey, you got to fix that. But be sure you check your wheels. Just as important as checking something on your chassis too. But this is why you block your fifth wheel so the trailer can inchworm. If this was a frame trailer, it would be unblocked. Now, frame trailers versus frameless, that's a whole different story, a whole different can of worms. Frameless are lighter trailers because they don't have the chassis. Supposedly, frameless, if one were to turn over, it should break at the draft arm, whatever, leaving the tractor on the ground. That does not happen, not all the time. Could it? Yes, hopefully it does. Preferably it's gonna snap here, trailer go over, tractor sitting fine, no problems. If you keep everything greased correctly, it should. However, it's not true. Sometimes it can turn over, and if it turns over, it can take your tractor over, rip the fifth wheel plate off. Who knows? It's just one of those freak things. You don't want to get in that predicament. And let's talk about that real quick. Why would it turn over? Okay, first off, frame, frameless, that's it in a nutshell. Frame trailer, why would you have a frame trailer? Some places require frame trailers because all your wheels on the trailer will be on the ground, your tractor will be on the ground, so everything will be on the ground. Again, I'm not a fan of frame. Frame, if it goes over, there's nothing to flex, there's no draft arms there. It's gonna twist on your fifth wheel plate. If it doesn't rip your plate off, it's gonna turn it over. Hopefully it'll rip your plate off. But again, I'm not a fan of frames. They're preferred for unlevel conditions, it's my understanding, for unlevel conditions to help be more stable. You just said the key word, unlevel conditions. If it's not fairly level, hey, I don't even want to dump there, period. Give it time, you're not gonna dump on 100% level stuff. You're gonna have to probably make a little pile, you know, the longer you do this stuff, you're gonna run into some different scenarios. You may have to build a little pile, put your trailer tire up on it. Stuff you're gonna learn over time. Okay, so let's go back to what I was just talking about. What causes them to turn over? Why would they turn over? Of course, I'm empty. Let's pretend we're hauling some lime. Oh man, guess what? It rained yesterday at the lime pit too. The guy who scooped it didn't get you none, the loader, he didn't get you none of that nice, pretty dry lime. He doesn't know you because you're just some random Joe Blow off the street, and he scooped some of that sloppy, wet lime and dumps it on your nice, non-line trailer. Line or non-lined, line can be sticky regardless. This is non-lined. A lined trailer would have like a rubber mat, and it'll have a lip, and there's different ways. Some people line them full liner, some, you know, just the bottom. But it's like a rubber mat that helps stuff slide out. I don't use liners. We haul various products. If a liner gets a hole in it, the product will go up under the liner, contaminate the next product possibly. I don't do liners. Again, if you're hauling sand or rock and that is all you haul, it's worth it. It will save your floor. It adds weight, but again, if you're hauling sand or rock, you know, the same thing, I'd say it's worth it. But we don't. We haul various different products in these trailers. Most of it feeds, some recyclables, but this is a wash. If I wash this trailer out, it's got some residue in it. A clean washed out trailer, this is a clean trailer. You can load anything behind it. The liner could cause a problem. But back to possible turnovers, whatever. So how does it turn over? If you're loading and a loader, say, dumps his bucket, if it's gravel, well, back to that wet lime scenario, we were talking about that. Back to the wet lime. He dumps it in the front corner where that manhole door is. He dumps it up there, a lot of it, not really none on the passenger side. Let's say he's an inexperienced loader, and instead of going right down the middle of the trailer, he dumps most of it over here. I've had that happen. I've loaded fertilizer off a conveyor belt, couldn't get out of the truck, couldn't check it. I had to sit inside the truck the entire time while loading. The entire trailer was loaded to the passenger side. It was so bad when I pulled out on level ground where I could get out and see, my trailer actually squatted over. I had to get in the trailer with a shovel product so I could dump it. You're gonna have to do the same thing with lime. In the event that happens, basically from half the trailer back, you'll be okay. It's not really gonna cause a problem. But in the nose, if that whole left side is full of product, whether it's lime or whatever, none on the right-hand side, you got a problem, buddy. You're gonna have to break out the shovel. You're gonna have to do whatever and move some product. You could risk it, try lifting it, and cross your fingers that it'll come out. If it does, remember me when you buy the lottery ticket, because you're lucky. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Take the shovel out, shovel some, level it out, go from there. That's the rule of thumb. So be sure, guys, make sure it's, you know, right before you leave. In that situation, what you would have to do, if it's a whole lot over here, none over here, how you get around it, load some on this side. Now, if you're at 23 tons or 25, whatever your legal limit is, and you can't load anymore, then you got a problem. You're gonna have to get in there and move some around. But that's why, if possible, if you're allowed, get out and watch them load so you don't have to get in there with a shovel and do it. I've loaded various products. The loader guy doesn't know what he's doing. He'll have some here. I'm like, hey, buddy, put some over here. And if you can catch it and do that, you'll save yourself a whole lot of trouble. And we don't want to run a shovel. We just dump trailers. We don't run shovels. But otherwise, that's it as far as loading your trailer and the levelness of it. Any questions, just let me know.